Hello and welcome back. Today's video is one that many of you have been waiting for and have been asking me to do. So here it is. Today we're going to be taking a look at all of our mini rice fish ponds on the patio, on the deck, whatever you call this thing. So let's go and take a look at each one of them and I'll show you all the little rice fish that we have. So let's get started. Okay, so here we are. Once again, I've got to wear the little slippers, the deck slippers that are too small for me. These are my aunt and uncle's rice fish ponds, so it's their slippers too, and I don't fit into them. So I've got no choice but to wear them. So let's start off with this one over here. So we've got a bunch of water hyacinth in many of these, and I'm not so sure what the size is, but it's a very small ceramic pot, these ponds. I think no more than 5 gallons, or yeah, maybe there's 5 gallons, I don't know. But they're really small. You can try to compare the size yourself. Here's like my hand. And they're not that deep too. We've got one right there that's a little bit deeper. But yeah, let's start off with this right here. So there's a bunch of babies in this little pond. So you can see one right there. I think that's a white rice fish. Here's another one, and there's also some black ones in here as well. So this is just where we hatch out the fry, and we're not selectively breeding anything. We're just doing it for fun. So whenever we see eggs on the roots of the water hyacinth, we put them in here and they'll hatch out. So that is really neat. Here's a tiny little one. And these are already a few days old, so they're slightly bigger. When they're newly hatched, they're really tiny, almost hard to see. Over here is one that I set up a year ago, and the plants have just been growing like crazy. So during the winter, the plants died off, and it was very bare. But during the spring, the plants will start to grow back again. You can see some rotellas here. I'm not so sure what this plant is. It's like an onion plant, but I'm not sure. And then we've also got some swords. This is some type of echinodorus. And we've just got a couple of white rice fish in here. Some adult white rice fish. And this little pond is, I think, too small for them. But they've been in here for the last 1 year, and they've been doing amazing. So I'm really happy with it. They don't jump at all, so many of you have been asking me, do they jump? For me, I haven't had that issue. We haven't had that issue. We don't see any of them jumping around, and we don't have any predators here. Sometimes we get stray cats that walk around, but they don't seem to disturb our fish at all. So, oh, and the birds too. We do get some birds, but they never come on our deck. So over here, this is a nice, slightly larger one. These two pots over here, they're slightly larger. We've got some nice black rice fish in this pond. You can just see them. They're beautiful. Really nice. There's a lot more of them in here, but there's lots of hiding spaces. You can see the lily pads at the surface provides good cover for them. But the rice fish here, I think these are one of my favorites. They just look so good, and they look like wild rice fish. And they're super hardy. The rice fish here, they live throughout the winter, so we leave them out all year round. As you can see, there's no filters, no heaters. We don't put anything on these rice fish ponds at all. Just the sunlight with some plants. We don't really have a substrate in this. We just have these little ceramic pots inside containing some akadama soil is what we call them, and some fertilizers for the plants to grow. Yeah, right here we've got some red root floaters that's kind of taking off. I got that from the home center, the garden section, and yeah, it's been doing really good. In this pond we've got a mixed variety. We've got some red ones, some white ones. Look at the red ones here. Oh yeah, and we've got some like hybrids that turn red and black, kind of like a koi fish, so that's pretty interesting. But you can hardly see them because this pond is just filled with plants. But yeah, this is another one of my favorites. There's a nice silverish one. In the future, I really want to get some like high-end, high-quality rice fish, kind of like the super jet black ones or the super bright red. I don't even know what their names are, but I do want to try to keep some of those exotic ones. In here we have a couple of babies. So this one is just a styrofoam box. Anyone can do this. You just grab a styrofoam box that can hold some water. You put the hyacinth with eggs on the roots, and you just sit them in here for a couple of days, and you'll see babies start to hatch. Look at them. Look at how tiny they are. That is just crazy, and I'll try to get some underwater shots of some of the rice fish we've got here. I don't know how big this is. It's not that big. Maybe 45 centimeters front to back. What's this, about 20 centimeters? I have no idea, but right here, this is another ceramic pot, and the rice fish that are in here we got from one of our good friends. Well, my aunt got from one of her good friends, family friend, and she had some really nice blue rice fish. So these ones are blue, but they don't look that blue on camera. You'll see like a blue shine to them, and they are incredible. Take a look at that. The colors on these are just amazing. Let's see if we can focus in close up. Yeah, so there's like a blue hue to them, and they're really shiny. I think this guy's like a white one. We should get that guy out so they don't crossbreed. But yeah, this is another nice one that we've got. This is a slightly different shape. You can do this with any size pot you have. So this is, you can see, not that big. If I put my hand there, it's not a huge pot, but it does have some depth to it. And I get many questions as well about what we do during the winter, whether we heat them. And as I mentioned before, we don't do anything except for we put an acrylic lid on top. Right here you can see these are acrylic sheets, and we'll just cover the top of the ponds so that the water doesn't freeze. But even if the water freezes up, the fish will still be okay, because these fish can overwinter and they'll do just fine. The one I have at next door, that's my pond, I don't do anything to it. I just let it freeze over, and the fish will stay at the very bottom, and yeah, they'll slow down and they won't eat, but they will survive. Right here, this blue container is kind of like a water storage tank. So there might be some fish in there right now to like kind of eat up all the mosquito larvae, and that's another question I get, mosquito larvae. As long as you have fish in the ponds, you won't get any mosquitoes, so just make sure you have some fish in the ponds. But this is kind of where we hold our water, so we'll fill this up with water, and whenever we do like a water change or we need to top up water, we'll just grab a scoop from this using this little thing right here. We'll scoop water out from this just like that, and we will pour it into any of the ponds that are low in water. So just like that, and that's it. And we rarely do water changes on these. We just top them up. The plants do all the work for you. So yeah, and the plants in here, again, water hyacinth and some parrot's feather. This is a really cool plant that when I visited one of the rice fish farms last week, I saw this plant and I was like, oh my goodness, you've got parrot's feather. I've never seen this before. And they were so kind. They gave me a few stems of this, so I'm gonna grow these out and hopefully use them for my goldfish pond that will come very soon in the future. I'm working on the goldfish pond right now, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out the goldfish pond. And we've got one more over there at my uncle's place. I've got to change my slippers now. We've got the Croc slippers. Yeah, so I'm not allowed to wear my Croc slippers on here. It's one of their rules, so I've got to follow it. Right here, this one is a slightly different shape. You can see cool patterns on the ceramic pot or bowl, whatever you call it. Same as this. I think it was a set. So this is like a table, outdoor table, and you've got these little chairs that you can just sit on. Let's sit on this for now. But yeah, you can sit on here, have a coffee. It's super old, so it's kind of dirty, so we've got to clean this up a bit. But yeah, you just sit down here. You can have a break, take a look at the view, take a look at the rice fish, and enjoy. But you'll notice that these ones have holes in them, and that is because when it rains, you want the water to go down. So because these are made as benches, chairs, there's holes in them. But this one, you might think there might be a hole in there too, but this one is specifically designed for a rice fish pond, so there isn't a hole in there. But if you have something like this and you want to cover up the hole, I'm sure you can put something there and silicone it up. Maybe put like a rubber piece in there and silicone it so it doesn't leak. I'm sure you can do that. But in Japan, like, rice fish is one of the most popular fish. Many people keep these, so you'll find pots designed specifically for keeping rice fish. But right here, this one, it has a bunch of beautiful red rice fish inside, and we can't see it now because, oh, there's one right there. I just saw a crossbreed. Can you guys see that? It's got the red with black markings. That's one of my favorite ones. Looks like a koi fish. And try to get a better, oh, there. Yeah, but these fish here are kind of skittish, more skittish than the other ones, but they've got more space. You can see the depth of it. I'm not sure how tall that is, but yeah, kind of like that, maybe 45 centimeters tall, 18 inches, something like that. But yeah, these fish are really cool. And I swear there's a bunch more in here, you just can't see it. So I'll put some B-roll of all the fish. I'll take some underwater shots for you guys. But yeah, so this is my aunt and uncle's kind of backyard garden where they keep all the rice fish. Maybe in the future too, I can go to some of our friends' places and show you guys their rice fish. You won't see like many exotic ones, but just the regular red types, orange, white, blacks, just like that. And yeah, breed them for fun, and the babies will share them with each other, maybe give them away to friends. And that is this. Now I want to show you guys one more pond that we've got right here, and this one here is one that I set up almost 2 years ago. It's been running really well, and the plants are just growing like crazy, especially now that we're heading into summer. The plants are just doing amazing. But this pond used to actually sit right here where this blue bucket is, but it wasn't getting much sunlight because we've got this shade, this shelter, so it wasn't getting much sunlight. Rice fish, they do so much better when you've got natural sunlight hitting them, so I've moved it out a bit, and now the plants have taken over. But there are some orange rice fish in here. I don't know if you'll be able to see them, but there's just a ton of hiding spaces in here, so I'll try to get some clips of them in this pond. But one thing that's also cool about this is that I saw some bloodworms at the bottom of this pond one time, so I know that there's food available for the rice fish whenever they're hungry. I feed them once a day or once every other day. They're super hardy fish, and yeah, they really thrive in these setups. One question I get about rain is, when it rains, will the ponds overflow? And I've never seen that happen in our ponds. We've never had the case of the ponds overflowing and fish escaping out, and I think that's because we've got a bunch of plants in here, so the plants will slowly drip water down, I think, kind of like a capillary phenomenon where it pulls water from inside and it drips it outside. So yeah, I think that's what happens, but I'm not too sure. But if you're afraid of having an overflow happen when it rains, you can just put a piece of string or a piece of white filter wool, and that will help it bring water. It will suck water up and let it drip down. It's kind of like how moss sucks water up. If you put a moss on a piece of branch and you stick one part of that branch with the moss in some water, that moss will suck water all the way up. So that's kind of how it works here. Here at the pet stores, they also sell that product where you just clip it onto the side of your ponds, and that'll prevent water overflows from happening. But because you can make your own, we never get them, and we've also never experienced the ponds over flooding. If there's anything I'm missing, which I'm pretty sure there's a couple things I'm missing here in this video, let me know in the comments down below. Maybe I can make more specific videos about these rice fish in the future. For water parameters, we've never checked water parameter before. The only thing I know is that our pH is a little bit on the higher side. It's around 8, somewhere around there. And for food, I don't think I talked much about food, but we just feed them random food. They sell pellets and flakes specifically for rice fish, and my uncle and aunt always gets those, so that's basically what they eat. But rice fish can eat anything: frozen bloodworms, brine shrimp, any food that can fit in their mouth, even mosquitoes. They will eat just about anything. But as always, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys next time.